Hey, folks, and all those fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth. It is I, your not in charge of anything person on this spaceship. And so there. So, alrighty. Alrighty. Then. We are working on a number of things. We have some jobs we're working on, some stuff we're working on. I have no idea what the heck we're working on, but we're working on stuff. So, waiting for Brent to pop up. Let's see what happens when Brent gets here. Oh, it's actually kind of a cool pen. Check this out, guys. Isn't that awesome? That's the Saturn V that's in the storage facility at Johnson Space Center. It's my Saturn V, if you will, because I've grown up with this Saturn V. This is the Saturn V that I would go to all the time. It lives at Johnson Space Center. When I was a kid, it lived outside, exposed to the elements, but they recently moved it inside this huge, huge building. And inside there, they have all of the Apollo missions all along the back wall. You can go back all the way down to the bottom of it and all the way to the top of it. And it's a monster machine. And this is one of my favorite machines that has ever existed. And I took this panorama when I was there at one point in time. And I think I took this and physically put it together. But, you know. Hey, Brent. What do you think about getting certified as a DBA? Like an online certification thing. What do you think about that? I used to do database work back in the day. It really wouldn't be hard for me to brush up on it, but it would be good pay, and I could probably do it from home and you know what I mean? Yeah, you're funny. But I also like kind of sifting through data and finding stuff. Yeah, database admin. I like sifting through data, and I like looking for stuff, and I like looking for trouble and things like that. Like, you know, kind of looking for information and sorting through. So I like actually being an analyst. But I guess I could be a DBA as well, because they usually DBAs are analysts as well. So a friend of mine recommended Data Camp, I believe. So I was looking at Data Camp, and I think it's like $40 or something like that per month, and you need 2 months worth of stuff. So a total of $80, and I could get certified for DBA, and that might not be bad. Just looking for a database DBA cert would at least get me some broader search parameters for jobs and stuff like that. So figured I would ask you what you thought about it. I mean, obviously it's not ideal for me, but I'm good at it. So it's not the world's best job, but maybe I would get into a company that would give me healthcare and, you know, and stuff like that, so that I wouldn't have to just sit here and go, well, I'll be dead soon. You know, something's gonna break and I won't have the money to fix it, you know. So don't necessarily like that, or, you know, think that's a lot of fun or anything, but could happen at any time. So there's that. Yeah, get my foot in the door, and it gets my foot in the door at something like 60K or 70K, as opposed to getting my foot in the door at 30K, which means that I could not, in fact, continue to have maintain my house. So, alrighty. We've got a number of project thingies that I'm working on at this point in time. Yeah. This is just for you, by the way. Just for you, my friend. Just for you. Because I think everyone needs that at least once. All right. All righty. So I was doing stuff over here and looking through things. Anybody want to see my very, very, very first comic? There we go. In 1985, 1986, something like that. So here is my first comic. Totally has no real plot whatsoever. Oh dear. So, yep. My first comic. Trying to figure out how I'm doing things. Or what I'm doing. How I'm doing it. So here's an interesting thing. It's interesting because this was a thing I had drawn in 1986 based on what we had, the information we had at the time. And so I was drawing the characters and everything like that. And we hadn't actually found out what the Enterprise looked like at this point. So we didn't know. No, it's just a drawing I had done based on what I knew at the time. So if you look at the Enterprise, it's got like Excelsior's warp nacelles, and it's a much flatter thing because somebody had said in an article that the new Enterprise is flatter and not as sharp, and has much more modernized warp nacelles, more like Excelsior. So I gave it literally Excelsior's warp nacelles. But here's the thing that's interesting. Captain Julian Packard. That was the captain's name. I have never found anything to verify this until recently, when somebody had posted something in one of the Star Trek forums. And I'm not kidding. You know how much I haunt Star Trek forums, right? This is 30 years later, and finally somebody said, yeah, here is the contact sheet that talks about Captain Julian Packard before we decided to change him to Jean-Luc Picard. And I'm like, I have never managed to find proof of this particular thing. I don't know where I got the information from anymore. I totally live in them. You know it. I don't know where I got the information from in 1986. I don't know where that came from to find this out, but this was, I love this particular piece because it's my best guess. There weren't Trek forums back then. There wasn't an internet that we could get onto back then. I had to have gotten it from a star log or from some source like that. It had to have been a Star Trek magazine of some sort. But I've never been able to find it again, which is kind of funny. It cracks me up a little bit. Because I'm like, well, that's weird. And here you have some star maps. Just so you know, this isn't the first time that star maps have been part of my world. This was 1987, early 1987. It's not that off either. There's Wolf 359, Glycus 2020, Procyon, Lalande 21185, Sirius AB, Alpha Centauri B, Proxima Centauri, Alpha Centauri A, Groombridge. Groombridge is actually in the right place too. Wolf 385, Lalande 112. I'm just impressed that this isn't that far off. Not bad for 13-year-old me. Oof. I should bring these characters back someday. This would be fun. These are my characters that were effectively robot character or Robotech characters. This is from 1989. I've evolved quite a bit at this point. I'm not using lined paper for one. It's actually not horribly bad. That's not horribly good. I mean, you know, I was relatively new to this whole drawing thing. This is pretty amazing for where I was. I like that I'm totally doing the thing, the Liefeld thing. What hands? You can't see the hands. They're behind the control panel. Kind of like this cockpit, though. That cockpit design's not bad. Right. Oh, hey, that was an actual legit animation. Look at that. I mean, 2 frames of a legit animation, but yeah. And this is back where I felt like main characters had to be male because it seemed like that was a thing that had to happen. Then I decided that's stupid. My main characters do not have to be male. That's a dumb thing. And so I like, oh, wow, I kind of like this is her. I mean, it's got a UFP belt. So, I mean, it stands to reason that she's doing something here in her dress uniform, kind of like the cape going for it. So the funny part is I got these markers that were neon colored, which made me have to really go and deal, like paint the neon colors things. Really enjoyed my neon colors. I find this one interesting because it's cut here, and I don't remember why it's cut. I didn't cut it for any. I mean, I didn't cut it because I was not the kind of person that cut things off when they were bad drawings. I just kept drawing. So it wasn't that big of a deal. I should redraw her. And this is from, I mean, like I even put the day on here. Look at that. November 26th of 1989. We know literally the day. To the day. You know what? We're going to draw this. Let's draw this. Every so often you should do a thing where you bring up your old drawings and you do a redraw. I think we should redraw is what I think we should do. What you think? Doesn't that sound like a fun thing to do tonight? We'll redraw this. We'll pull that from here. This one's kind of interesting. Oh, there's two versions of it. I actually redrew it apparently not that long late, not that much later. Oh yeah, here is my Minmay. That's actually not a bad Minmay. You consider this is from 1989. I mean, even that hand is not bad at all. I mean, it's not awesome, but it's not bad. I was trying hands here, man. You have to, oh yeah, 12/3/89. So this is from December 3rd of 1989. That's when this one was made. That's not bad. Like, not bad at all. What if maybe I should redraw her? No, you should redraw your own characters. That was a character from, this is my Harlock character. Got the skull and crossbones on everything. This is where I felt like I was leveling up in my art. We've got better proportions. We've got a better pose. The license plate says my other car is a Vega. I was into Vegas early on. It's a thing. Not bad. Not bad at all. That one's much more advanced. Wouldn't it suck if I had done more advanced drawings then? This one's where I realized that really I do mechanical stuff. This one's badass today. I mean, this piece I could probably just ink up and probably sell it today. Nobody would know that it was from literally 30 years ago. But I mean, like the inner flaps here, these flaps that are obviously spoilers, and I've got all these beautiful, beautiful feathers, and like that's just really cool. That one wouldn't be bad today. People, still a little bit of a problem. Oh yeah, here's my Ranma. Everybody has to have a Ranma. I couldn't actually write in Japanese, so I just guessed what it was at the time. I started to evolve up from this point. Sarah Stillnight. She still exists in Bellatrix Rising's universe. She's still there. She's a reporter in Bellatrix Rising's universe. Oh, and it's Dokuko or Michiko. This is a cooler outfit. I like this outfit. This one's from the mid 90s. Moved up quite a bit. I've got an idea of how to do certain things, so I don't know if I want to redraw Dokuko though. Bob Sled, not a private eye. I wish I still had that audio. That was an awesome audio. These are out of order. Oh, I need to build this someday. Long before the V22, I was doing this thing. I loved this thing. I still like this thing. I need to build this someday. It needs to happen because that's pretty. All right. You end up transforming very similarly to Legios, so we won't do that. I'm also going back and seeing if I can steal my own designs. Now we're getting into more of the more detailed stuff where I was actually starting to do chiaroscura shading. Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm hopping around here and trying to figure out my chiaroscura shading. Here's Chun-Li. Actually kind of looks cool because of the paper that I used. It got a lot of really nice patterning on the paper. And then Mariah Carey in 1991. Or at least I was trying to do Mariah Carey, but I mean, it's like a thing. It's difficult. So then we've got, of course, all kinds of wild comics down here. These are actual comics. Here's Sarah Still Knight in action. Kind of like these cars, too. Like the little police cars. I did these guys back then, too, and I kind of dig them. With the light rack on the back. You know? The fire trucks and utility trucks and stuff like that. Kind of like that. Like this news van's pretty kick butt. That's the thing. I've always been a mechanical, whatever you want to call it, sort of person. You know, there's the door open on the side of the news van and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. Image Killer. This is a different character. Yeah, I had a much more modified version of that police cruiser here, where the light rack was on the spoilers. I like that one better. I think I dug the light rack being out on the spoilers a lot more. The best part about this is these are my vehicles and I drew them. I mean, they're based roughly on like what we had at the time, Dominion Tank Police and things like that, which were the anime that I was watching at that time. But they're very much my own designs. So pilfering my own designs isn't going to kill me any. I am more than capable of doing my own pilfering. And these are roughs. But I do like the light racks back on the spoilers. $4,494. This isn't bad either. I mean, even zooming in, this isn't bad. And I kind of like. This is kind of cool. This is before I knew what I was. This is before. This is on an 8.5 by 11. So it's not on 11 by 17. So I had no idea I needed to be working at a larger size. And here's the rough for it. Mako the First Scroll. What story was this? This is Spirit Mask. This is Spirit Mask, is what it was. So I can move those into the right directory a little later on if I want to. Oh, this has got some good mecha designs, this one. I don't know what I'm doing tonight, Brent. I'm weirdly demobilized today. So this is working for me. I don't need you. You don't need to be kept. You are the one. Ones don't need to be kept. And this one had some wild mecha. That's a pretty wild mecha. I like him. This is another wild mecha. That one's cool. So, I bet you guys cannot tell what book or what manga and anime I was into at this point, can you? You can tell right away that somebody here, and I won't name any names, but it's me, has gotten into Battle Angel at this point. Golly, yeah. Like, look at that. Look at the teeth in there. Man, I didn't do bad. That's pretty. I mean, it's pretty scary, but it's pretty. I have the manuscript, but I haven't read it yet. So I don't want to start doing things until I've read it. That's interesting. Yep, I am definitely influenced by Battle Angel here. But look at that angle. I mean, considering this was 1994 and I didn't use any of the things that I use now, the tools to make this super fast, it's not bad. This is kind of one of my favorites. This is a cell. You can see because here's the back of the cell. Here's the front of the cell. Always love that. Let's see what we got here. That's a different critter. Oh, I love this piece. I have always loved this particular piece. It's a Legios, but it's a Legios in Guardian mode. And I will never be able to, I mean, I will never not absolutely love. I could put some cells together for you. You know what I had this idea for? I had this idea for, oh, I like you. I had this idea for like a room done like an 80s style and like two kids jumping around and bouncing around and having fun on the cells so that it's like a miniature with cells. It's just like a small diorama of like somewhere in the 80s because I love the 80s and I will always love the 80s. And wouldn't it be fun to have sort of like a mini diorama with kids playing and the bright colors on the walls and like, you know, that kind of stuff? I'm also noticing I've got a cop car, one of those cop cars that I was dealing with that I really liked. Got a nice version of it here. Look at that. She's pretty. I don't even know who all these people are. Joe Farrago called. I called. Okay, whatever. These are all people that I'm pretty sure those phone numbers don't work anymore. I wouldn't call them. I'll bet you anything that those people aren't necessarily there anymore. Those are phone numbers from the 80s and 90s. Wow, look at all the pieces parts. This is me being absolutely infatuated with VF1s from Macross. I will always be infatuated with VF1s from Macross. Oh, that's a nice Legios. Look at that. And there's it transformed. That's a sweetheart of a Legios. Yep, so here's my human drawing. Here's my machine drawing. Can you tell where I was headed? Like, that Legios is gorgeous. That Legios is pretty good even for me today. This Legios would be really good. This is where I was starting to truly shine. I was starting to really show that I had. See you. I actually will be transmitting tomorrow, by the way. I wasn't transmitting today. I just slept in. I don't know. I'm not organized. I'm not together. I'm not with it. So I'll be on tomorrow, though. Oh, there's a Royal Command Battloid. Some invids from, but yeah. There we go. So see you later, my friend. Oh, here's another Legios. I'm not infatuated with the Legios. Why would you say that? Jeez Louise. It's like the 400th Legios in here. I did like my horses, though. The titanium horses. These are robot horses. I dig these guys. Hey, Sway TV? How you doing? I got Rainy and Super Scott. Super Scott. Are we being rated? I probably should draw something if we're being rated. I was going to revisit a character tonight. That's what I was thinking I was going to do. So I'm going to go back and grab one of my early characters from the early days of my life and revisit her. Show me your best drawing. Do you want my best drawing or what I'm doing right now? Because what I'm doing right now is going back through my old pictures from 100 years ago and going, I wonder if I can redraw. Best drawing. You got it, Chief. All right, let's get ourselves something over here. Probably my best drawing today would be this one. I would say that's probably my best today. Well, I don't know if I'll impress you. There are certainly far, far better artists out there than me. But I did enjoy doing this painting, if that helps any. Let's see what else I could do. Because I've got a couple of different things that I'll do. I have kind of going through some of my old stuff. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Normally I do various machines. So I like to do machines. For a long time, I was doing starships like this. So this was from a comic that I was working on at one point in time. I like to do those. I like that. I've always loved this picture, but it's older. It's a much older piece. Still like it. Still like it though, right? I did do another one of Ivy, but she's not finished yet. So, we got this one. This one's particularly popular with a lot of people. I have that dog in you. What does that mean? I look lonely? I think that's just because yeah, this is really dark, isn't it? Ashla was one of the... I'm not lonely. I have George. George, come here. Yeah, like you could come talk to the people on TV. You could talk to people on TV. Okay, I have George, but George is also a pest. If you come up here, I'll give you scritches. Is that a cat? Yes, it's a cat. George. George. So George is a good cat. He's a little bit of a space cadet, but he's a good cat. Oh, he's more fascinated with the fact that the door is open because it's nice temperature outside. So he's more fascinated with that. I like this piece too. I'm working on this piece. I don't know. This one's not bad. This piece here. I feel like this is kind of a cool. And oh, well, thank you very much. I'm actually in Denver, Colorado, United States. And I actually am a teacher. That's what I was. For a long time, I was an ESL teacher, which is English as a second language. And right now, I'm working as a driving instructor teaching the 30-hour class. So I teach the driver's ed portion of driver's ed. So you go in, you take the class, and then after the class, you have to drive. I don't teach the driving part anymore. So, but yeah. So this is a good piece. I like that piece. Yeah, I think I agree with that too. Good job. Your learner's permit is done. That's the hard part, man. Well, no, controlling the vehicle is probably the hard part. I'd probably say that controlling the vehicle is difficult. So, yep. And then I've got, then I do watercolors like this one. It was a Declaration Class Enterprise. I'm a Trekkie, so I'm a Star Trek fan. And like this one, which is the new Enterprise with an old Horizon class ship behind it. So, Rick and Morty. So these are this is more of the kind of stuff that I like to do from time to time. I really dig doing watercolors now, but I'm still very, do I like cartoons? I mean, like Rick and Morty? I have a degree in animation. So I actually spend a lot of time analyzing cartoons. Here's a Black Widow. She's doing a backflip, if you're wondering. Most people get very confused with the angle on this one. They think it should go the other direction, but she's supposed to be doing a backflip over these books. So, I do like The Simpsons. I like The Simpsons quite a bit. Right? You don't have to like anime. It's fine. Everybody has their thing, right? Everybody's got a thing that they like, and thing that they don't like, and things that they do and things that they don't do, and it's all fine. We're all different people. That's what's so cool about people, is that we're all different. I'm looking around to see what else I've got in here that'd be fun. Like, sometimes it's just a little piece like this. I like this piece. Just a backlit kitten, you know? I just think that's a fun piece. So it's kind of cool. Sometimes I just do dinosaurs for reasons. I don't know. Somebody had asked me to do a dinosaur with feathers. What would a Utah raptor look like with actual feathers? Because they were supposed to have apparently had. No, it's not a. That was just a kitten picture and stuff like that. So what I usually do is I'm working on comics. Do I sell them at the conventions? I do. I sell these pictures when I'm at conventions. I table. So, no, my cat has abandoned me again. He was in here somewhere along the line, and now he's gone. I guess I held only this much attention for him, but that's okay, because he's a good cat, and, you know, for the most part, he doesn't do much damage. But yes, I'll sell these at conventions and stuff like that. But the primary thing that I do is a comic. And that comic, that the Ultron, is that piece done? No, it's not done. Fine. The comic that I'm working on is called Bellatrix Rising, and I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. I just have to pull into a different folder. I have so many drawings now that I have a zillion folders, and it takes forever to get everything. But yeah, it's called Bellatrix Rising, and that's my comic. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It was nice meeting you too. Bye-bye. You can always visit if you want. This stream specifically, yeah, that's the character in my profile pic, is my captain, Chang. She's my main character. She's the captain of this ship, which is called the Kittiwake. So you can always join this stream. I usually stream at night, at mountain time, from 9 to or from 10 to midnight on at mountain time. So here in Denver. I also stream in the mornings sometimes from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So you can join me either time. And if you want to draw at the same time, that's sort of what I'm doing. Like a lot of us, I've got ADD. And one of the things that works really well for attention deficit people is to work together. So bye-bye. See you later. See you at another stream. All right. No problem. I think I'll just redraw her. I've got all of the stuff on this, though. I love this uniform. Bye-bye. These uniforms are wild, though. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know, guys. I don't even know. Gotta find one that has a pose that I like, though. Anyway, we'll redraw her. So, here we go. We're gonna look at this and take this picture. This picture was done originally in 1988. So let's talk about this picture. And let's look at just drawing through what we've got on her body, right? So we'll take and do the same pose, but I'm going to turn her slightly, right? So we're going to take and we'll just build in the body shapes, right? So here's the body shape for her torso. And then we'll go on ahead, and this is her hips right here. Now, in the case of this, she's probably leaning up against the wall. So we want to make sure we tilt the spine in this way. So I'm going to move the hips this way so that it's more straight on this side and goes up here and goes straight here too. And this is just because she's tilting her hips one direction while she leans. So we'll get kind of that going. And then here's the neck on this, right? So we're going to kind of do this, go around this side of the chest. And the chest is going to fold in a little. And that's because when you lean up against things, your spine moves. So we'll do that. And then just so I don't get confused, I'll pull this away and pull that away. So we'll take then this and we'll raise it up a little because it's a full body, and we'll shrink it down a little just because we want to make sure we're roughly the same way. Okay. That's a World War II aircraft. It's a rotary engine. Somebody's flying a warbird at 11 at night. That's pretty gutsy. Right? So she's put one leg here. So we'll come into here, but this leg is kicked over to one side. So we're going to foreshorten it by doing that. So it's kicked to one side. And we'll put in the foot here. And all we're doing is just kind of looking at the way that it's foreshortened. And in this case, I don't think I like the way I ended up with it. So I can always move and adjust it. But since this is a redraw, I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably just going to erase it because that would be what would happen if I were in real life, right? And not using my tablet. So let's go back to where we were here. Right. So we got this going forward like so. We'll look at the other leg. It's going to be straight like so. So when we do this, though, we're going to come down to about here with this leg. So we know that this leg's going to end up here. And that's part of the reason why it didn't look right before. So this is the other knee right here. They're both together. Right. And then we'll do this. And when you're leaning up against something like this, what ends up happening is that you end up with a certain amount of stretch for the leg. So we'll kind of go out like so, and we'll do this, and then we'll just plant this foot down here as a square at the moment, because we'll come back for it in a minute, right? We'll come back for it. Make sure that we give the calf here, because we want to make sure we've got that straight bone, that femur, the femur and the lower leg bone, which I just lost completely. No, really, I took anatomy classes, right? So here's what we're going to do is this. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Since this leg is going the other direction, I'm going to bulge out this calf bone, and I'm going to put it like right here, or the calf muscles. The calf muscles are these huge, massive muscles in the back, and they're really rough. And so they're big guys, right? Since she's leaning, we're going to kind of put a little bit more meat back here. When one of the mistakes that many people make when they draw women is they try to draw their hips like this, and then down on the thighs. And the reality is, the way it comes off, the way the muscles come off of the pelvis. So if we're looking at the pelvis, like this, right? And then we've got the leg bone, which comes down like so. And the other leg bone sort of does this number as well. These muscles are anchored here, but they travel here, and they're anchored here and they travel there, which means that the legs, generally speaking, end up not looking like they match, but the travel of these legs, the muscle groups are always in the middle of the thigh. That's a mistake a lot of people make, right? Right, let's get all these lumbar in there. So with her, we're going to bring that muscle group out. We're going to bring it out right about here. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Bring out that muscle group right there. Okay, bring out her chest right here. And we're going to do the same thing on this side as well. We're going to bring this shoulder out like so. We're going to end up crossing her arms in front of her. So that's what she's doing in this picture. We're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to take then and just mark in where those elbows are, right? And what we usually do when we cross our arms is we'll put our arms in front like this and they cross. And then this hand will go down into this pocket here. And this hand then comes up and then sits on top, right? Which is what we have here. So this is the hand that's sitting on top right here. And then this hand just goes down into this, like this divot in there. And we just need to make sure we bring out that elbow, right? Bring out that elbow. And now we've got her still doing sort of the same pose. We've got her looking a little to one side. Like so. There we go. Awesome. All right, and then this is where we're going to put in her foot. Like so. And I'm going to give that skirt. It's a very much a Roman warrior skirt with a lot of, it's not pleated, it's armor plated. So it's an armor plate. Right. When you do these capes, you want to make sure that the capes actually have some fluff to them, otherwise they really don't look good. So we're going to make sure that they come back like this and then just give a little bit of fluff to the forward there. Right? In this instance, she's looking straight at the camera, so I'm going to go on ahead and just indicate that here. Ribbons and things like that. I have always had an absolute love of the jackets, the monster maroons from Star Trek the movies. So I will go ahead and do that. I actually have 0 viewers at this point. That's a sad thing. It says 0 viewers down here, but the screen says that I've got more than 0. That's kind of interesting. The screen says 3. One watching me in from Art Crumb's page, which is cool. All right. Making sure that we have the capability of putting her hair out here. I want to make sure I've got that ability here. She wears a headband here. So I'm going to go ahead and do the mechanics up here first before we go on and get further into this. All right. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to go real quickly run over here. All right. It's funny once you've gotten used to drawing a character in a certain way. You still remember certain things, like what does the eye patterning do? Now, like the fact that I gave her an eye patch, primary reason I gave her an eye patch was because that way I didn't have to draw both eyes and then make them line up, because I didn't know how to line up eyes back then, which I think is particularly funny now. All right, kind of moving along. We've got this one going pretty good. Let's talk about some of the other pieces that we're going to do here. Right. So for one, this leg, I'm going to straighten up a little bit more and put it this way. Okay. At this point in time, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get close to finishing this drawing off. I want to do some darker colors in here real quick, just to go in here and make sure I've got some of the points that I want to do. Right. So, like for example, when we're starting to deal with, say, the chin line and stuff like that, I want to make sure that I've got that kind of figured out as to exactly where that is. Sort of. It doesn't even make sense where her hair goes. Cracks me up. All right. Switching pens. I'm going to switch to my G pen. It's a pen I use all the time. Actually, I kind of like Lops better. This is going to be a 12. Switch to black. I'm on the layer that is now a certified layer for drawing. We're going to start coming in here and making this. We're going to really mess it up. Okay. Now that we've done this, though, I'm going to bring her neck down like so. And I'm going to bring it out. Right. So when I do these details like this, kind of going things going like this. The truth is, she's got an insanely long neck. Something that I might want to do something about at some point here, because really what I probably should do is bring that neck down, but I'll do that with the whole head when we get to that. So we'll do that. I'll give her her headband, which is part of her personality, even if it was simply to make sure that I never had to draw both eyes and level them out. And then I'll draw in eyebrow. And then we'll do her eyes. She's always suspicious. 'Tis the nature of this character. Ningen Dayo. She's a human. Right? All I'm doing here is just continuing with the contours, right? I'll have to suss out what I meant to do with those. These ribbons, I don't know what I was doing, so I'm going to have to go back and take a look at it at some point in time just to figure out what the heck I was after. Nope. And this is misleading lines, so we're going to wipe those out and wipe these out and wipe that out right there, because that's really where they should be going. We say, like we know what we're talking about. We don't know what we're talking about. Thanks. Now, usually what I do with blue line is use blue line enough that I can see where I'm going, but the biggest problems I usually have are with blue lining in a way that, like, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. The biggest problems I usually have when I'm drawing is keeping track of the big picture. And so my blue line's primary mission is to make sure that I can see where the big picture is. Because once I'm in here doing this, I can't tell what the big picture is anymore. I lose track of it. Right? So the question really is, am I doing the right things? Does everything look correct? Right? So whenever I then remove this, does it look solid? Right? That's the key. And it looks fine. It doesn't look bad at all. So that's the point behind my blue lines whenever I do them. I don't need them to be super detailed. I'll go in and put the details in with the inks. Right? But like here and stuff where she's wearing these pants, and I know she's wearing pants, and she's got these weird, like, bizarre greaves going on here, which I will just make like so. And I don't know what these greaves are. These like elaborate, super elaborate cuffs. I'm not sure what they're for. But either way, I'm going to puff them out a little bit, because that's really what's happening when we get down here, right? We all puffed out from what's going on. We're in this corner here, because they're going through these greaves of some sort, right? And then for this, let's do the same thing, right? Put this forward. There's something very Shar Aznabel about this particular character. I don't know if she's necessarily a bad guy, but I don't know if she's necessarily a good guy either. She was my very first hero, though, so I probably don't really want to make her into a Shar sort of individual. Just thinking that out loud on this one. All right, so Hey there, Neon. How you doing? I don't know. Maybe her head's fine. I think her head's probably okay. Oh, it isn't. Isn't? No, it is. It should be coming up there. I see it up there. You're on Discord, yeah? Sometimes the Discord server is just a little slow in the uptake. I mean, I guess I should say it's not coming through as long as what you're saying is hi. If you said more, then maybe it isn't. Oh, if you're on my stream, slow mode is engaged, so that may be part of it, and that's intentional so that we don't get spammers coming in and just slamming the hell out of the channel. Yeah. It might be slow mode. It might not be. Might be anything. Looks like 3 ribbons. I don't like that. I don't like any of this. It's not working right. I'm going to delete all of that. Part of the problem is I think in my blue line, this should be more like this. And that's part of the problem is I'm not following the grid on this, so to speak. So earlier tonight, we had all of these interesting folks that showed up all at once, and then they chatted for a few minutes, talked about different drawings and things like that, and then vanished. It was very adorable. They were very cool. So, interesting evening in that instance. They said I looked lonely, and I felt like, well, I don't mean to look lonely. It's like, I don't know what that means. Like, I don't feel like I look lonely. Do I look lonely? I don't know. Now I'm kind of like worried that I look lonely. I didn't know I was lonely. I'm not lonely as long as I have all of you fellow travelers with me. Nope, other direction for the triangle. Sort of had a feeling that was the case. Dang it. Hey guys, you're back. You've all joined back again. That's good. I am over here just redrawing my character. So this is a redraw from a character that Oh, yeah. That makes sense. You're over too. So that makes some sense. This is a redraw from a character that I had done in the 80s, 1980s. And so there was once a time where, when I was in high school, I really thought that this was going to be a character that I would end up making a comic about or something, and all was good. And then I didn't end up doing that comic, but that's okay. I still had this character, and I feel like she's kind of cool here, and so I was going to redraw her real quick in my more modern style and see what we come up with. What kind of trouble we can come up with, right? So I got into anime in 1989, long before it was popular here and long before anybody even knew what it was. I had a friend in high school who brought Robotech in. Robotech was it's an 80s anime, and just fixing all these so that they all do the things that they're supposed to do, because they're metal plates, so they should be outliers like this, so they move up and over this skirt, and then there we go. Because this isn't a skirt so much as like I said, it's the same thing as Spartan warriors wore. So it's not a skirt, it's a pauldron, or I can't remember the name of them. But whoa, we pushed the wrong button there. So it only looks like a skirt, but she's wearing armor plates underneath it, and her pants are armored and stuff like that. So I know, but we all have to be 14 someday. We all start at 14 somewhere along the line. And that's all right. My kiddo is 13, so it's not a problem. So yeah, in 1989, I started drawing anime. What music do I like? That's very sweet of you. Part of the reason we have low views is we don't actively go out looking for people to watch us. We're just doing a job here. And in this instance, I'm kind of doing the job of helping people draw if they want to draw. So if you want to draw, I will help you draw. You just need to ask any questions and I'll answer. The kind of music that I like. Right now, I seem to be getting into K-pop a lot. I don't know what my problem is. Just not really BTS. I mean, as much as BTS is good, but I've never really been that big on BTS. I'm more into Dreamcatcher and Red Velvet and Girls' Generation. I got into Girls' Generation from J-pop, and that's where it started. So that's where I am at this point in time, for better or for worse. I did spend a few years in Japan, so it's one of those things that it sounds weird that I'd be into all of this, but actually it's because I got into it while I was over there. And so I got into J-pop when I was over there, which is Japanese pop music. And then that led sort of naturally to K-pop. Righteous Brothers, Johnny Cash. I'm into those guys too. So being an 80s kid, I have a lot of love for 80s music. And I always will. Because that's my my high school years or whatever. There we go. And in the end, there's no replacement for the man in black. 'Tis the way it goes, right? All right. Now we've got her this way. We've redone this picture. I tilted her a little bit more towards me. Queen. Yes, Queen. We are the champions. There's nothing wrong with that at all. You and I would get along just fine. Just saying. Okay, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tool. This is the line thickening tool. I'm just going to tap in here on a couple of places like this. This just gives a little bit of life to the lines, right? So especially right here at the bottoms of things, it just kind of gives a little bit of life to this line. Right, come around here and just right there, like that. And then right at the bottom of her face. And that'll give me just a little bit going on there. I'm just tapping along here. And this is just, like I said, giving it life. I kind of want the lines to look sharp. So, there we go. Like so. So, yeah, there we go. We're just going to do that. That's a tool that comes with Clip Studio Paint that I really like. And that's this line sharpening tool. All right, this thickens the line a little bit down here. And we're just giving it a little bit of a push in some areas. So that just looks more alive. We'll go back through and do the same thing with it in a second. But we'll do it with the thinning tool. But before we hit the thinning tool, one of the things I'm going to do is duplicate it. Because once I hit the thinning tool, the fill command will get kind of confused in here. So really want to kind of just bring up some of this so that the lines look alive. Ah, it's too much alive. It's too alive. It looks too alive. It's like Frankenstein here. All right. Kind of going in like that. Go like that. Just tap a few of these just to give it some life. Right? There we go. I probably should also think about what's on this headband, right? Because her headband is up here. I have no idea what that headband really says. So I know that headband had specialized stuff on it. There we go. So I'm going to do something like so. I was very into this alternating stripe thing when I was younger. I don't know what my problem was. And then her eyepiece itself was a separate unit, like so. There we go. Just giving a little bit of detail inside here on this, and I'll hit it with the Invigonate command here, just to give me a little bit of something to work with. There we go. Kind of going around here like so. All right. So now that we've done that, you know what else needs to happen? We need to hit right there, because she's going to have a shadow where these pauldrons come down over her arm. You're going to have this shadow down there. So I really want to kind of bring that in, right? I don't remember what the colors of her uniform are anymore. So that's all right. So now what I'll do is I'm going to duplicate the layer and then take this layer and put it underneath it. And then I'm going to rasterize it. When I rasterize a layer, that would takes out the vector drawing on it. Because right now, this guy's actually a vector drawing. If you hit the control points, you can see what I'm talking about. You can actually like control point the drawing. And this allows me to be able to pull in here and just pull the lines to either side if I want. And so I can still control this. The problem with vector, of course, is that you can't fill. So if I take the fill tool over here and I try to fill it, it just gives me the red signal that says I can't. So what I'll do is I'll bring down this line here, and this is a vectorized drawing. And since this is vector, I can fill, like for example, these, right? Or whatever. Her hair would be pink. Pink is not a bad idea. I might go for that. We'll see. See if I've got any other instructions for myself. Did I leave any instructions for myself, right? Like, did she ever get a color treatment? I think she did. Because I think her hair is blue. Yeah. I'm thinking her hair was blue. All right. Blue it is. But I don't see anything other than that to tell me what the suit's colors are, so we could probably go for a red suit with decals, huh? Have you seen anybody else ever do a redraw before? Or an update draw, I guess? This is where we take one of our old characters. There we go. Just grab that blue, right? Don't need to worry about this guy anymore. Right? We take this character and we'll go back onto this lane here and we'll just tap in here, okay? There we go. You mean my drawing was from the 80s? Yeah. I mean, it's a pencil drawing. I scanned these in somewhere along the line a million years ago. Okay, taking a look here, we've got, ugh. So I do know that this line's purple, though. That's what we've got, right? This guy's purple. For better or for worse? Probably for worse. That's red. So we'll take this red. I think I got lazy at some point in time. I don't want to draw anymore. So this is something that some artists like to do from time to time, and that is just update their drawings. What did it look like when I was a kid, and what does it look like there? Right? You're like, you feel this one, right? You definitely feel this one. I'm like, I know that stripe is red, but that's about it. The rest of it can be whatever color I want it to be. I don't know what color her eyes were, though. I never drew her eyes except for a black smudge. Right? There's like not a lot of detail in there on those eyes. Who knows what color her eyes are? It could have been anything. Didn't get any more on the data on this. Oh, there's a diamond shape right there in the middle of the headband. Well, let's go back and fix that. I do remember that headband, though, was gold. We lose a little bit of the detail with a fill, which is why I add the line or add the original on top of it. I'll bring that back in a moment. But for right now, we're going to do some of this work. We're going to come in here. We're just going to touch through here like so. And then just kind of come in like this and just do this. This gives the impression that we're getting kind of a reflection off the sides of it. and stuff like that, right? So it's kind of like so. All right. And then we'll do the same thing, but we'll do it with the black. So that it just kind of has sort of this going for it in the middle. And it's not black, it's this kind of greenish gold. And this will bring around the colors a little bit and kind of just, it just assembles it, you know? And then when we put the lines back on top of it, you can kind of see that we've got kind of an effect going now, which gives it this sort of feeling that it's rounded in these different shapes. So I'm going to kind of bring this around under her hairline like so, and just give like a, there we go, like that. Then we can put a shine on it right along here. And do that. There. Now it's a shiny gold thing. They are particularly crickety, aren't they? It's a very lovely and peaceful sound. You've been how long has it been since you've been in Canada? I'm kind of glad you can hear them. Oh, 1 year ago? Mm. I've been to Can. Oh, behold, it's a light blue. I don't know. Look at that. It's a light blue, it looks like. A lot more red on this unit than there this uniform. So I'll make that a light blue, I guess. It's like a cyan. Oh, that's cool. You have to take a float plane? Oh, I'm so jealous. I want to ride in a float plane someday. Totally jealous. All right. I think that's just her neck. She's got like normal skin tone here, but I have no earthly idea what that was from. Like she seems much darker skin tone than I remember, but what do I know? It's been 100 years since I drew her. She actually kind of looks good with the darker skin tone, so I'll leave it. Right? I'll run with this. I'm not opposed. And I don't really remember. I don't think I ever drew her in any way that was indicating what skin tone she had. And so darker skin tone fits. It looks nice. Which I think is actually kind of particularly funny because it's totally dictated by whatever pin I had at the time. When I started drawing, there wasn't a, I didn't have a lot of, drawing materials or anything like that. I had whatever I could get at the local grocery store. And so it's funny that that was the skin tone that she got. Not funny, just interesting. Nothing wrong with it, but just an interesting sort of, who knew? Got darker skin than I thought she did. Which is cool. She looks pretty cool to me. All right, we're going to go through here, and I'm going to go ahead and just make these pauldrons. She's got definitely something going on with these being gold pauldrons of some sort. And her greaves, and her belt. Ooh, we missed a spot. That's all right. It's all right. Go to bed. Sleep well, my friend. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you at some other point. I'll be here. Nope. All right. I didn't ever really put any kind of information out on what my what this. I don't have a color version of her dress uniform. It looks like even then I got confused about what color things were, but I mean, what did I know? I was a kid. Oh, hey. Actually, color codes. Yeah, but that's for her standard uniform, not her dress. This, on the other hand, is her dress. Yellow. Yellow. The cape is yellow. Well, all right. The uniform's white. All righty. Well, somebody, namely me, actually gave color codes. So I'm going to bring those in. I am doing a complete redraw, right? So there you go. There we go. So, all right, her pauldrons are yellow. So we'll start with that. I don't need that one anymore. I don't need that one anymore because I've got color codes. So her pauldrons are yellow. You got it, Chief. And her eyes are apparently white. Did not help me any at all. Just gonna say. The inside of the cape, though, is black. Fascinating. Let's do the outside yellow so that its outside is yellow. We'll do the inside black, and when we do black, we won't do black because that would be weird, right? You don't actually go black. You never go black. It just never comes back from that. So we'll go this color, which is kind of a dark gray. We're really just going to go dark gray in here because that's what we want to do. Hey, color codes, back to the color codes. And the shoes, the boots are black as well, so we'll put those in. So I figured as much. Okay. And what I'm really going to do here is her dress uniform is white with this light blue as the background color, so I'll just go ahead and just put it all back out in almost white, not quite white, but white enough that it'll be fine. Right, so and the reason is because I've got color codes in here that are telling me that her uniform is a specific color for shading, and that's because those color codes were done back in the days before we had processing here on the PC. So I don't need to worry about keeping those codes the same way. They're what they are. So what we're going to do is go in here and do this, and then if we're good, job will be fine and we'll be okay with it. So going ahead and going for the rest of the colors. What's the color of her? It's yellow, really? Because, that's weird. But you know what? We do what we do. We do what it's called. It says it already. I've got a full color diagram here. So it says that's yellow. I would rather call it blue, but that's all right. What do I know, right? And she's got a golden eye patch. Yeah. You've been a good practice guide for me today. Thank you so much for being cool. I don't think that works. There we go. That works. All right. We still haven't gotten a good, clean idea of what Maya's eyes are. So I'm going to make them purple because it doesn't say. The guide doesn't say. It doesn't discuss it at all. So what I usually do for color on this one is I'll bring on a multiply and I'll just come in here with a bigger pen and bigger than that. And real quickly just kind of touch in here like so. There we go. We've passed over the daylight time. Now mountain time is now on to tomorrow at this point. So I'm going to have to probably leave us pretty soon here. I want to thank all of those lovely people who came in. Sway TV. I don't know what Sway Tweet TTV means, but it still is cool. And their buddies who are with them as well. We had a couple of kids here who were just wonderful, wonderful people. I'm really glad to have had them here, and I'm glad that they were part of this show. We also, of course, had our regulars early on in the show, but they, of course, went on ahead and went to bed. And so that was wonderful. And it was good to have them here for that duration of time. Always good. Always good. So I want to thank them for being here. I want to thank you for being here. And I'll be back again later. Of course, I'll be back on tomorrow morning at my normal hour. And if you're in the area, you can join me. And if you have questions or want me to help you with your art, I'm also available for that. Or if you just want to draw art while I'm drawing art, because you're in ADD and you need the assistance, as also one of the services that I also provide. So either way, I think we're coming up on the end of the show now. And I will be kind of moving along, singing a song side by side. No, wait. I'm just going to do this here. There we go. That works so well. There. Now she's starting to come along. All right. So there's our Kylie redraw we're working on. We'll work some more on it and a little bit more tomorrow. But for right now, I think it's time for us to head out. Thank you all for joining me again, and I really appreciate it. And I will see you all in the morning. And as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Good night.